Do you want us to sell more cars? Is that the objective? And I'm going like, I don't really care about selling more cars. So, oh, what do you mean?
My guest today is the guru of electric vehicles. He's done many test drives on EVs and he's been to many communities on EVs all around the world.
That's right.
Darren, welcome to today's podcast.
Thank you so much, Josh, for inviting me.
Yeah, when I was thinking about my own possible EV purchase, I thought of asking you, Darren, because you're the guru of it.
Thank you.
Darren, today I would like to ask you in two segments.
Okay.
The first is mainly on what EVs to buy, because
Right.
our audiences today are all thinking maybe about car change and stuff. Share with us as much as you can. The second part, I'll be talking about stocks wise. Tesla, BYD, these are some of the most famous names.
That's right.
So let's start with maybe purchasing on EV. What is your guess on the best selling EVs in Singapore and what are the reasons for it maybe?
Oh, it's very clear. If you look at the buses in the streets, it's very clear who's number one in Singapore, and that is BYD. So BYD has close to 20% market share in Singapore. All new cars sold, not just EVs, but all new cars sold. And for more than 3 decades, Toyota was the number one brand in Singapore. From last year, BYD is overtaken Toyota, and now BYD is the number one brand in Singapore. So you see that there's an inflection point. BYD will likely be a leader for many years to come.
Are they also the top in Malaysia and Thailand?
In Malaysia, because the government does not allow imports of EVs below 100,000 ringgit, that protects and provides room for Proton and Perodor to continue being market leaders. So you see the Proton E-Mass still being the top selling EV in Malaysia. And of course, all the ICE cars, the average price around 60, 70,000 ringgit. The average imported EV, even the Chinese ones, the floor price is 100,000 ringgit. And that means that unless they have local manufacturing in Malaysia, like Proton and Perodor, it's going to be a challenge to be number one.
You've test driven many EVs, right, I guess?
Thankfully, yes. Very fortunate too.
Share with us what's your experience over test driving so many EVs.
The brands I spend the most time on are Tesla and BYD. One, because Tesla's been a large EV pioneer, and I own last year a Tesla Model 3, this year a Tesla Model Y SUV. BYD is a top brand, a very curious brand, a very good team to work with. I've had the opportunity to test drive all of their vehicles. I'm looking forward to the new BYD Seal 6 very soon. And they're launching many more vehicles as well. Then I've got a chance to test drive Zeekr, Xpeng, and of course the Continental cars. So BMW has done a good job transitioning to EVs.
Oh yeah, I've seen a few BMW
iX3 is
iX3, yeah.
popular. They just refreshed both the ICE and the EV version. And we see BMW successfully transitioning quite a fair percentage of their ICE fleet, ICE owners, brand loyalties to EVs. The ones that stand out to me, Tesla for the hardware and software integration. BYD's improved so much in quality. If we think about the perception of BYD like the E6 taxis a decade ago, and look at the BYDs today, like the BYD C-Lion 7, huge leap in quality from a hardware standpoint. Huge leap. Like it's as good as a BMW iX1. Most people say that. Like, if you look at the C-Lion 7 and the BMW iX1 or 2, you're not going to notice a significant difference.
I wanted to ask more on BMW because I have a neighbor driving the iX2, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
That's getting very popular also, right? And how about other brands like Merc EV? Have you tried them or what do you know about them?
I was fortunate to get to ride in a Mercedes EV in one of their events that they were very kind to invite me for. Now, the BMW iX2, I have a review video from a few months ago. That is more of a coupe, sporty look. So less a family car and more like you're someone who buys a Porsche kind, a more sporty feel car. And their most popular EV for BMW is the iX3. That's because it's the most practical, because it's a bit more boxy looking. So it's more practical for families. It's easy to store things, put child seats.
So iX2 is smaller sitting area.
The back, you see, is more curved.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's more curved, so there's less storage space. Whereas you look at the iX3, it's a bit more boxy.
Oh, okay. So that one will be their best seller. The
iX3.
iX3. Okay. I've also seen before Xpeng, but just very few on the roads. So I'm guessing their market share is smaller. I don't know their price point.
Now. Okay, BYD has price points at the entire spectrum. From the most affordable car, like the BYD Atto 3 used to be Singapore's most affordable EV, not car. Then they've launched like Dolphin, they've got Seagull. In Australia, they're just launching the BYD Atto 1, which is 25,000 Australian dollars. Can you imagine? That's cheaper.
The smaller size.
That's the one of the cheapest cars you can get in Australia. Of course, that's a city car. That means, what I mean by that is the range is about 210 km. So if it's city like Singapore or stay in Melbourne or Sydney, no problem. If you want a road trip, that's not the car they get. And we'll come to your topic later when you think about if I'm road tripping to Malaysia, what's the right kind of EV?
Yeah.
And you got a very premium car. You got a premium brand Denza with the Denza D9, the big MPV.
Okay.
Then Zeekr, Xpeng are more premium brands. So if you think of BYD like Toyota, Zeekr, Xpeng tries to think of themselves as a Lexus. And BYD's own Lexus is Denza.
Maybe I can ask you this question. If we were brothers and I'm buying like the first car between Tesla, which I checked the recent prices around 250,000 because COE has gone up to 130K thereabouts. And Atto 3, if I know, about 180,000. How would you recommend me if it's like a first car or if I'm transiting from ICE? Is it going to be a different point of view?
I think for our audiences and primarily Singapore audiences, our car market's very unique. It's unique because of COE, which means that if your Cat A COE is 120, your Cat B COE is 130, percentage difference between a basic and premium car is a lot less in Singapore compared to other countries. And that's why you see like BMW and Mercedes used to be number 2, number 3 brand in Singapore for many, many years. So with that context, the most affordable Tesla now could be like a Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. That's a sedan. That's around 210, 220, depending on incentives and where COE is. BYD Atto 3 around
They
180.
changed it to Cat A, right? If
They have Cat A as well.
Okay.
So the majority of BYDs and Teslas, when I say majority, I mean more than 85% of the cars sold in Singapore are Cat A. Because the only practical difference to an owner from a car performance is the 0 to 100 acceleration, which we don't really need. So what I mean by that, if you take a Cat B Tesla or BYD, the 0 to 100 may be 6 seconds or 5 seconds. A Cat A1, the 0 to 100 is 8 seconds or 10 seconds. Is that a life-changing difference in Singapore? Not really.
you get into a traffic light in no time.
Does it make a difference driving to Malaysia? Absolutely. And we'll come back to that later. When someone asks, what's the first EV I should get? We stay curious to ask, what's your use case? Are you a family? Are you a young couple with no kids? And what you prioritize? Is it tech? Is it safety? Is it price point? If you want the most affordable EV that is good enough, get a BYD. The BYD is like the Toyota in the EV world now. It's cheap, reliable, it's good enough. Now, if when someone says they have a point of view like, oh, I need a car that is high-tech, that is convenient, or it's a multi-user car, that means multiple people, adults are driving the car on a regular basis. Then you want a car with better hardware and software integration, where it just works. Then I would recommend a Tesla to someone. So it really comes back to what is their use case and what they're trying to do.
Maybe
How many
App
passengers
Pro
they
on
need
the
as well.
software? Because I took notice that you mentioned hardware and software. Is there a difference in the BYD software and the Tesla software to end consumers?
Absolutely. So BYD software, or if you look at most of the car companies, they're using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Most of them have their own app right now.
Okay.
With Tesla software, just because of how they're designed, where it's also very software and hardware integrated, what I mean by that is even in Tesla's factories, the software engineers don't sit in a separate building with their own aircon and quiet space. The software engineers sit in level 2 above the factory production line. So if there's a bug in the car, the hardware or the technicians will look up and say, hey, fix this. And the software engineers will go, yeah, the problem is downstairs right now. So there are less silos in Tesla. I'm not saying that there are no silos, but there are less silos because of the way that they're designed to be integrated. And everything in our Tesla app right now, I can turn on the aircon, I can find my location, I can summon a car, it can drive itself. All this is just a lot more seamless. It's not saying that other car brands can't, but it's like comparing like we're using like an iPad versus, let's say, a Samsung tablet. Both work, but there's still a difference where Tesla's like Apple, right? It just works.
The simplicity of the user interface.
Exactly.
If I hear it correctly.
Exactly.
The summon feature, does it really work? Like
It works
like
in-
Batman. I'm just imagining like Batman calls his car over.
If you go to US, yes, it works. And if you get a chance to visit one day, I'd be happy to give you a test ride and an experience. In Singapore, the summon work, not yet. And there's also a factor of different regulations. Singapore follows a lot of the EU regulations as well. So the summon range in Singapore today, like you've got to be standing practically next to the car. So the use case isn't great. The rare occasions where the summon use case is good is if you're in a small, older building with tight car park and you're driving a bigger car like a Model Y, and it's hard to get in and out, especially for the passengers open door, you can summon it in and out of the lot.
Okay.
But then is that like
That's still allowed,
life-changing.
right? That means if I interpret what you're saying correctly, let it reverse itself and come out so that you don't open the door and
Yes.
bang the wall.
Yes.
That's still allowed in Singapore's law.
Yes, and experts do that as well without any additional cost.
Okay.
Do many brands have software? Are they working on it? Absolutely. Is Tesla the gold standard? Yes. It's like how Apple is a gold standard right now when it comes to hardware and software integration.
Understand. Then maybe we can pivot to the next question on Malaysia.
Yeah.
Something you've hinted before.
Yeah.
I myself, I go KL trips every half year, Malacca trips every 3 months.
Great.
What would you advise me to look out for if I change to EV and I want to do road trips? Is the mileage or is the distance going to be a problem?
The good thing today is it's a combination of two factors where you don't really need to think too much. Most EVs you get would do the job. And why? One, the battery technology is improved. Most EVs today that are in the market, they have a WLTP range of around 500 km or more. Some of the Chinese EVs even have a WLTP range of 600-700 km.
WLTP is
It's like an industry standard for
average
range.
That's the most optimistic, right?
Correct.
In
So
layman
if you
terms.
just minus 20%,
Okay.
you get a real world range. So let's say you see a car says 500 km WLTP range, you minus 20%, your real world range is about 400 km. Then it also depends on, are you someone who floors the accelerator because of the instant top, or do you drive with discipline at 110 km per hour in the Malaysian highways? If you do that, your range is far more significant. Because for EVs, once you go above 120, 130 km per hour, the battery consumption, of course, is far less efficient.
I heard of that. That means for someone who goes fast, tries to overtake, we are going to consume all that battery a lot
Yes.
more than a cruising kind of a usage.
Yes, so that's one factor. Like one is the car's battery technology is improved for most brands. Second, the charging network. If you look at an app like PlugShare, so PlugShare is like a Google Maps for EV chargers. It works around the world. Like you're going to Malaysia, you're going to Thailand, you're going to Switzerland. PlugShare works it's like a Google Maps for EV chargers.
Okay.
Or you can actually just use Google Maps itself and just search EV chargers. You'll see that
Oh.
list as well. It used to be a desert. Now the west coast of Peninsular Malaysia, you can't really go more than 100 km without finding a charger. And once you go to the hubs like Ayakaro in Johor, Malacca, Seremban, there's so many fast and slow chargers. Which means when parents are driving up to KL or Malacca, we typically make 1 or 2 stops in the trip. Toilet break, snack breaks. In those breaks, even if you go to Petronas, there's they have their own brand of Gentari chargers. So most of the oil and gas firms, they have their own EV or renewable arm right now. So
Okay.
Petronas has Gentari, and Gentari is one of the biggest charging networks in Malaysia.
It's not going to be a problem whereby my battery runs flat and
Unlikely.
okay, you're going to be able to find.
You have to purposely want to find a problem. Like you say, okay, I'm going to film a YouTube video where my battery runs flat in North-South Expressway. You have to purposely
Okay.
want to do that.
It's easy enough to find. Just like you can find a toilet on the highway, you're probably going to
Yeah.
see one that's
Now,
near enough.
are there occasions where sometimes you go to a petrol station where maybe they only have 2 stalls of chargers and there are 2 cars parked there and you may have to wait a while more? Yes, sometimes that does happen. So that's where, again, hardware and software integration comes in. For Tesla, the Tesla supercharger network, you will see in your car screen. So as you know, like most screen have like a tablet, like a screen in front, right? If I'm driving up to the Tesla supercharger in Malacca, which is in the Formosa there, Formosa area, they will tell me, okay, there's 4 stalls there. Right now, 3 are available. And 1 is not. Or they'll say, all 4 stalls are being used. However, 2 stalls will be available in 5 minutes.
Wow,
How they know
that's
that?
cool. That's
Because
cool.
hardware and software integration, they're talking to each other.
Live updates on
Yes.
available lots. Like parking lots, we see
Correct.
400 lots in Vivo City Car Park 2.
Correct.
Wow.
And also because for DC chargers, the speed Tesla knows, right? You cannot throttle down a DC charging as an owner. So, and when you overstay your welcome after 5 minutes, you get an idle fee. It's like you're paying a parking fine now, you overstay. So that means those cars will exit unless you got a lot of money or there's an emergency.
No, I mean 5 minutes is expected charging time.
5 minutes is the idle grace period before the idle fee comes in. The charging time for most fast chargers, let's say a Tesla, go to supercharger. When I say charging, right, you're not going to wait until 0% to charge. It's like your iPad, if it's
Yeah,
60% right now, you're going back home, you still plug it in, right? Coming from Singapore, nobody's going to leave Singapore at 20% state of charge. They're not going to be like, oh, let me just go to Johor and no pump fuel and save money. Is electricity cheaper in Malaysia? Yes.
Okay.
Is it a big difference? Not life-changing difference. Yeah, we'll come back to cost ownership later. So let's say most Singaporeans leave Singapore to Malaysia at 70-80% state of charge. You don't have to be gas, you don't have to be 100% all the time. But even 70-80%, by the time, let's say you reach Malacca, your state of charge, depending on your speed that you drive, maybe it's 20, 30 or 40%. Again, it's highly dependent on the speed that you drive.
So you've driven before and uses
Multiple
50%.
times. Yeah.
One trip of 50%. If I
My cars can drive to KL without charging if I really want to.
okay, 300 click.
Because, as you know, KL is 350 km. That's assuming without stopping. And if you drive a disciplined speed of 120, 130, you can get there without charging. If you want to go faster, then you will need to charge in between. Even if I could, I wouldn't because I just want to stop. My trip's more enjoyable when I stretch every 2 hours.
Agree?
So most charging stops would normally be 10, 15, 20. Sometimes people want to eat lunch or eat some instant noodles. They stop for 30 minutes. And the fast chargers have different charging speed. Just like your iPad have different charging speed depending on what we plug it in. DC charging, the fast charging, can be 50 kilowatts, can be as fast as 200 kilowatts. The Johor premium outlets have some chargers that are up to 300 kilowatts.
All cars can support 300?
Not all.
Not all.
Okay, so this is where it's like not all iPhones will have the same charging speed, right? So example, some people say like BYD, the AC, the slow charging speed for some cars is 7 kilowatts. For Tesla, it's 11 kilowatts. For some brands, like let's say Kia, it may be 22 kilowatts. So also, when people buy EVs, they also want to check what is my AC, my slow, and what's my DC maximum charging speed.
Okay, I understand. Then Atto 3, no problem, right? In your recollection of its specs.
It's not the fastest charging. That means the AC is 7 kilowatts. The DC is about 80 to 88 kilowatts.
So anyone that's new to this scene, sounds like there are newer version of cars which can charge faster from a
Definitely.
layman perspective.
Yes,
I guess, right?
correct.
Right, so you buy a second-hand BYD 3 years old, it might be a slow charging.
The max charging speed may be slower. Now, again, it depends, comments on use case. Like we are only going to Pasar Malam in Singapore, you're only dropping kids off, doesn't matter. And if you're living in landed or you're in a condo, or now by end of this year, which is 2 months from now, every HDB car park has chargers. If you're only driving in Singapore, the max charging speed doesn't really matter.
I want to ask your experience driving in Malaysia also. Because the other problem about, some of the Malaysian infrastructure is sometimes it's spoiled. I go to terminals to top up my car, I know they don't maintain it one sometimes. Is that true with EV charging ports? Or there's one in 10 kilometers, then it's spoiled, cannot use.
Absolutely. Sometimes you will find you come across spoiled chargers, and coming back to the app plug share that we talked about, they rate the charging points. So let's say you see a location rating like 9.8 with like 200 drivers rating in the past 2 months, that's solid. You see one location like 7.2, and then there's only two drivers reviewing, okay, that place may be a bit dodgy.
Dodgy as in...
I mean like reliability.
It might be spoiled.
Because the last thing you want to do is like, you're chonging, and you're just like, I got 8% battery left or 2% still charge. You go to this charger and the charger not working. And your heart rate just goes up because you'll be like, okay, do I have enough battery to go to the next closest charger?
What if you don't have? I mean, I have to ask this question.
If you don't have, then call a tow truck.
Oh, wow. Surely there are instances where...
Rare.
Because
Again, someone has to be quite negligent or intentional to want to do that.
myself, my phone sometimes gets flat.
So and there's also different principles. That means if let's say we're driving day-to-day commute in Singapore, like most owners say, okay, I will never go below 10% state of charge. Because 10% state of charge in a 500 km car is still 50 km. And most cars have like a 20, 30 km buffer, even if it's zero. It's a little bit of buffer. And in Singapore, you can't go more than 5 km without finding a charger. In Malaysia, or if you go on an overseas road trip, you probably want to reach charger minimum at 20% state of charge. Minimum 20%. So that means you have roughly about 80 to 100 km left. So that in case of emergency, the charger not working, you can find another nearby one. And if you drive in colder countries, like you go to Norway in winter, during winter, the battery range can go down by 20 to 40%.
Oh, wow.
Because the battery is to heat up for optimal performance, and it also uses more energy to heat up the cabin as well, because the drivers want to stay warm. So the EV battery range will actually go down by 20, sometimes maximum up to 40% in very harsh winters. Which, coming back to Singapore and Malaysia, we have the perfect climate for EVs. This is the perfect climate for EVs. So we have the optimal range.
Just a lot of traffic lights.
That's right. That's right.
Understand. Since you're on that point of charging port, I caught a video of yours mentioning about BYD supercharger 5-minute thing. Is that going to come to Singapore or is it still in testing phase? Well, curious about that.
BYD's announced that they'll try to bring it to more countries, even Australia as well. However, these kind of things, do you need it every day? Can you imagine, let's say, we're filming this podcast now, you're driving a car, and you go and park at that charger. Like, you'll be checking your watch every 2 minutes. Oh, sorry, Daren, I need to pause this podcast. I need to go repark my car. Because otherwise you get idle fee. You can't just plug your car there and just leave it at 100% the whole time. It's nice to have. I think that's great for road trips. But even road trips, if you go to a toilet break, you go and spend more than 5 minutes. You go and get a snack, you're queuing up to pay, you'll be like, Kanchong, oh, cannot, sorry, please hold my queue in line, let me repark my car. So I think there's a sweet spot. Like, you don't need to be ultra fast. So some people will say, oh, petrol station so fast, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
To which a lot of EV owners say, I don't even need to go to a petrol station. My house is my petrol station. My house is my charger. I just came back from Melbourne where Australia has the world's highest adoption of rooftop solar. So their energy is practically free. They bring back their BYD or Tesla home. They have a home charger. They plug it in. The charging of the car cost is free. So the energy cost is whatever petrol cost you pay at $200-300 a month is now zero. For this would be like best case scenario. Let's say you live in Perth or you live in Melbourne, you have simple landed property, rooftop solar charger. Perfect. Costs nothing. In Singapore, you pay maybe 60 cents per kilowatt hour. Net, that's at least half the price of fuel. Some people say it will be 1/3 the price, depending on how they drive.
Maybe we can pivot to the next topic on shares, because investing into EVs, I think, is a very interesting topic. And
Yes.
you happen to know a lot of things about Tesla also. Maybe you can understand, is Tesla still your biggest stock holding? And what are latest developments for it?
Yeah, so 80% of my public equities are on Tesla stock. Think of Tesla today. I see we have an iPad or iPhone here, right? Think of Tesla today like Apple computer before the iPhone. My conviction on it is not as a car company. It is as a company that is accelerating the world's transition to sustainable abundance. Not sustainable energy, which was their old mission. Sustainable abundance. That means when cars can drive themselves, today, most Singaporeans see cars as a liability, correct? Actually, around the world, cars are liability. Singapore, very unique, because if you bought your COE at 30K, cars are one of the best performing assets. Better than S&P 500 in the past 3 years. That joke aside, if your car can drive for you, we just swap the car, flip it around from a liability to asset. Here's why. Cars today are parked in the car park 95% of the time. 95% of the time, it's not a non-productive purchase. It just sits in the car park. In fact, we pay money for the car park. So we pay money for idle. When it becomes a self-driving car, we all know how to order Uber. You can then set, I want my car to, let's say, be allowed to pick up my kids from school, your spouse, your close family members. That means they can open their Tesla app or BYD app or a Zeekr app and summon this car to them like an Uber, like a personal Uber, because it can drive itself. And some more resourceful people, they say, I'm overseas for 2 months, I'm backpacking in Europe. I want to open my car to a more public Uber. That means I let the general public use it. So on one extreme end, you get everyone can use your car like a Grab. On another extreme end, I never want anyone to touch my car. And then there's also a spectrum in the middle. Close family and friends, or I may say, okay, my list, if I want to ramp up my earnings, maybe I open up to the closest 200 people. Who are these 200 people? All my family members, relatives, cousins, and my close colleagues. People I trust enough. And there's some people who, they want to operate a fleet. They say, hey, I got 10 cars. I'm all happy to open up to people with a good rating. That means anyone with like 4.5 star rating above, I open up this pool of passengers. Tesla, what we are investing in is the machine that builds the machine. That means it's the factories. The car is what people see. It's the factories producing the car that makes Tesla very profitable. It makes autonomy and software very profitable. It makes the energy business and battery storage very profitable. And it will make their robots very profitable.
So you mentioned about the energy storage. I happen to chance upon some headlines that part is growing fast, right?
Yeah.
Whereas sales in cars might fluctuate.
Primary driver of success in the energy business is the mega packs. So these are like industrial level storage solutions. Think of mega pack, like one is like filling the whole size of this podcast room. One of these costs maybe $1.5 to $1 million. Like, it's not you and me buying it. It's cities buying it, it's companies buying it for energy storage. Let's say take Australia, where there's a lot of mega pack deployments. They have so much rooftop solar or even public government solar. You're not going to use all the energy in daytime. As we know, most energy consumption happens at night. Air conditioning, HVAC, overnight charging, kids are home using internet, watching TV, aircon's on. So all these energy storage is meant to capture all the energy from the sun so that we can use it when it's a cloudy day, it's a rainy day, it's a dark day, it's at nighttime. And that business is basically just building batteries, right? And building controllers. And the hardware and software integration comes in to allow Tesla to better control, optimize, and make money. So that business, the energy business, is the most profitable part of Tesla's business today. And it's really more than 10-15% of the total business. Every quarter, you see energy growing faster than the automotive business. And even in automotive business, you think of the automotive business like Apple selling MacBooks. Did they make the best MacBooks? Absolutely. Are we using MacBooks today? Absolutely. Is it Apple's biggest business? No. Same thing. The selling of cars in the next 5 to 10 years will not be Apple's biggest business. They will continue selling cars for a long time, like how Apple's continue selling MacBook. But if you think about what is Tesla's iPhone, it will be their robots. If you have a robot that you can lease for maybe $1,500 a month, or you buy for, let's say, $25,000 lifetime ownership, and it's like your iPhone or iPad today that we have. It's an app store. You can say, I want to download the ironing skill. I want it to download the security skill, like just monitoring the walking CCTV, which you already see a lot of walking CCTV in Singapore today. They're just on like the traded wheels. Imagine if you put like a ChatGPT in a form, right? Let's have a conversation. That is going to be Tesla's iPhone. So again, my conviction in the company is that it's already a solid company, like how Apple was already a solid company without iPhone. It's going to be a totally different thing.
I've also seen before some critics that the robot portion has, I don't know, it's still man controlled or it's not exactly there yet kind of thing.
Of course. So it depends on what's our job, right? Is our job to be a critic or to be an investor? And as we know, as investors, alpha comes when most people disagree with you. If most people agree with you, there's no alpha already.
Okay.
So superior returns come when most people disagree with you. That's a good green flag for me.
Okay.
The more people disagree with me, it's a green flag. The more people agree with me, that means I'm too late in my investment already.
So you believe there's some truth to that display?
So it's nuance, right? Or sometimes people overplay one thing. Are there like humans like controlling Tesla bot for some events for demonstration? Absolutely. Is it happening 100% of the time? No. And is that percentage of human control going down over time? Yes.
Because it's not 100% ready, but you have to do enough for that show to run.
Correct.
So
And
there's still some control.
you just think like Japan after World War II, copycat until they become innovators. China today, copycat, now they're innovators, leading the world in DJI drones, leading the world in biotech and technology. So the robot needs to copy and mimic human actions first, then it train, then it learn. It's like when IBM built Deep Blue, it still had to train from human chess players first. And they can't say, oh, it was a human teaching it, so it sucks. So it beat very Kasparov, but it sucks. That's like someone saying that a telepresence on a robot today means that they'll never build good robots. It just means that this is a path of training or it's a demonstration. Like everything has to start with a proof of concept. They have to fail. They have to iterate a lot. A lot of critics will say, oh, Tesla full self-driving is a joke. Yeah? Then they'll have a countdown every year, right? 1st January, okay. Then they have like a video, like a 1-minute meme video where every year Elon Musk saying it's coming, it's coming. Now it's here. Then the meme videos disappear. And so if those critics invested in Tesla from the beginning of the meme until now, their returns will be 20 to 30x. Right? They're happy to be critics.
Any concerns about their car sale numbers not? Because I understand the energy business, the robot business is coming. It's going to be big. Should we as investors worry too much about the car sales numbers or what are we going to expect? Because there's some anti-Elon Musk sentiment on and off.
Yes.
There's competition coming from China. What do you take note of in terms of car sales portion?
So it depends on, again, like you mentioned the word investor. So if the role we play as investor, what we're looking for is superior return, right? Not car sales increase. And superior return, let's look at the stock price. $459 right now. Not a bad place to be. Can it be higher? Is it like a Palantir or Nvidia the past 2 years? No, it's not. Do you see more upside than downside risk? Absolutely. So from an investor standpoint, even if the car sales drop to 0, if the stock price goes up, if people's conviction increases, That's ultimately your KPI as an investor. Like, you don't go to your family and go, okay, Tesla's car sales went up, let's celebrate. No. You go to your family and go, wow, stock price went up to 10% the past week. Let's have a nice dinner tonight. So I think it comes back to, again, what are we optimizing for? Do you want us to sell more cars? Is that the objective? And I'm going like, I don't really care about selling more cars. So, okay, what do you mean? Because if we make the existing fleet of cars, the 8 million Teslas on the road today, if we just make them more productive, that means autonomy, self-driving cars, we have robo-taxis with Tesla in the US right now. That means the car utilization goes up from 5% to, let's say, even 40%, assuming 60% downtime for charging, for maintenance, for cleaning. Even just 40% utilization, we've just increased utilization by 8x. And for someone like Elon, it means our impact to autonomy, to roads, to transportation is now 8 times more. For a founder like that, that's his focus. Have we increased our impact? Not have we increased car sales? Because when Tesla was founded, Elon's goal, and we talked to a lot of Tesla store managers, I was very fortunate too. They say, if someone walks in a Tesla store, walks out without buying a Tesla but buys a BYD or a Zeekr, that is mission accomplished. Because it earlier was to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Every ICE car that went off the road and become an EV, it's a win for Tesla. Why? Because Elon Musk don't care about making the money or the market share. Does he want to use the money for productive use? Absolutely, which is why like next few days, there's a compensation package vote for Elon Musk. Does he care about having the billions and swimming in the money? He doesn't care. His house is a $50,000 house. He sleeps in friend's place. He sold all his vanity assets in California. He had them last time. He sold all of them. It's his baggage. He just needs to him, money is like lithium. It's a resource. He just needs it to build. What's he building? He wants to build a future where humanity is a multi-planetary species. That's his dream. And people who are motivated want to work with him, when you work really hard to achieve that dream. It's very different, right? Like most other CEOs, I say like BMW or BYD, they say, okay, our car sales are up, 6% year on year, let's do it. We're going to launch 3 new models. Elon's not really excited by that. I don't really care if the new model comes in. What I do care about is how is it improving our world? And do we want to make money doing it? Yes. And are we on the right track? Yes. Can you make more money in the past 2 years being a Palantir and NVIDIA investor? Absolutely. But if you look at a 10, 20-year horizon, are you making enough money? Yeah. Do you need to make the most money in the world? No. Do you need to beat inflation? Yes. So you just find your balance in between. There'll always be something to FOMO on.
I want to pivot back to the question on autonomous vehicles. I went to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I sat on Waymo.
Great.
It was an awesome experience. Tesla self-driving and Waymo. What do you understand from that competition over there?
Okay, first, both are a great step in the right direction because they're safer than the average human driver. And they're like much safer than the bottom 20% human drivers. Waymo's solution requires LiDARs and a lot of installation.
Yes, I saw something surveilling on top.
So the average cost per car could be 100,000. They're reducing the cost by they're partnering with Zeekr, Xpeng with their like MPVs. So they may reduce the cost of the car by maybe $70,000 US. The cost to produce a Model Y or a robo-taxi, a Tesla robo-taxi, Cybercab, the cost to produce one is 25 to 35,000. So if the cost to produce is half or 1/3, that allows a company to scale further.
For Waymo? You mean they can't scale down the cost, man?
They're not manufacturing their own cars.
Which eventually they would go in that route, right? If
They won't
go in that route.
Because they're a pure software company. Waymo is a pure software company.
So they are always looking to partner.
Yes. Because like before that, they're using the Jaguar I-Pace by Jaguar. Now they're using the Chinese EVs. So again, it's still contracting. And anytime there's multiple parties involved, the margins, as you know, will not be as strong. And the integration will not be as strong. There's still like multiple translation layers. It's like, if let's say we were to do this podcast in Japanese right now, we're both referring to our phones, translating English to Japanese, there's a cost.
So in your belief, even though adoption might be slightly faster, eventually Tesla's solution will be superior.
Actually, even today, Tesla's coverage area, the service coverage area, if you look at Austin, if you look at Bay Area, it's already larger than Waymo.
I thought they were leading. Just from headlines, I thought Waymo was leading in terms of
Waymo has started many years ago.
Yeah.
Tesla is catching up very quickly. So it's not just like who started first. Like when you buy an iPad, you don't care that Samsung say, hey, we built tablets first, you should buy from us. Consumers don't care, right? What consumers care is, if I need to buy the best tablet and most affordable tablet today, what is it? And for many people, they say it's an Apple iPad right now. Today, if you take a robo-taxi that is cheap, that is safe, that is widely available, because if you have to wait 20 minutes for a car, that's no go, right? If you can find a service that meets these three criteria, the answer is increasingly Tesla's robo-taxi. So I don't want to be any of their competitors.
Speaking about competitors, what about BYD? Do you own BYD stock? Do you like their story?
I love the story because it's such a powerful story of innovators. The BYD team was very kind to bring us to their BYD museum, to their BYD showcase center, where they walk through like how they started producing as an OEM or like just producing parts for other automakers before making their own cars. It's such a story of great resilience and China's rise and just people's commitment to success. So I think BYD is a very inspiring story. I don't own their stock and I respect a lot what they do. And talking to many people in BYD's leadership, they respect Elon Musk and Tesla a lot as well. They are former Tesla employees working in BYD. And I think both companies can win and be successful together. That's like how Apple and Samsung have been very successful together.
But
And
why
BYD actually
own
produces
their stock?
batteries.
Because that story is not a energy transition story.
I don't own
more
stock
of a
of
car.
I don't own stock of non-US listed companies because there are different motivators. I guess you hear like different beta in the markets as well. I think for investors, you stand a chance getting more superior returns in US listed stocks.
So maybe I can round up the topic today with two key questions. If there was one EV player in Singapore
Yeah,
that is not maybe BYD or Tesla, who would it be? And the second question would be like, what would be our go-to resource to learn more about EVs?
got it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend Tesla as the first EV for everyone. In fact, I think for a majority of people, they should test drive a BYD first. If you want affordable brands, MG, you've got Aeon, you've got a few more Chinese brands that are launching at a price point that is below 200K Sing dollars. I mean, the sweet spot, depending on how COE fluctuates, is 150 to 180K price range. That's a sweet spot. Now, for context, you buy a new Toyota Prius, it's at least 207K. With COE prices, a Toyota Prius alone is about 220, 225K. More expensive than a Tesla Model 3. But the default will still be recommending most people to test drive a BYD first.
Okay.
At least you have a reference point for the most common EV in Singapore.
Oh, and does it impact resellability if you're using a more popular brand? If I go with a smaller brand where it's very little market share, I
In
can't sell it.
general, yes.
In general, yes, right?
And there's nuance as well. So what I mean by that is if you look at the open market value of a Tesla, like the resale price of a Tesla or the 10-year scrap value of a Tesla has the best scrap value and it has one of the best resale values. What I mean by that is if you talk to most car resellers, you ask them like, what EV retains a resale value better? They'll tell you Tesla.
And then there are resources to learn more about EVs. And any tips on where to go and find out a bit more as we end out?
Yes. The good thing is even all the mainstream car websites, car magazines, they're already covering EV. Yeah, so if you are a car lover, you know the plate. Wherever you're watching today already covers EV. If you want something more dedicated EV focus, you can spend time with me as well. I cover EVs. Am I biased towards Tesla? Absolutely. But it also means that when a Tesla fan like me says BYD is good at this, people pay more attention. So I say like example, XPeng has one of the best hardware and software integration outside of Tesla. People go, oh, that's interesting. And do I have friends who own a Tesla that moved to XPeng? Yes. I think XPeng is a very good premium Chinese EV brand. They have their G6 SUV, which is just refreshed in Singapore. They have their MPV. It's one of the best EV MPVs in Singapore. It's big now, so if you want a 6-7
Price range?
seater,
What's your best guess?
like XPeng G6 is quite similar to Tesla Model Y, so they're about 220, 230 depending on COE. So these newer EVs that are cleaner, safer, cheaper, faster are better than the ICE versions.
Thank you so much, Daren, for sharing with us.
Welcome.
As always, if you have questions on EVs,
Yes.
leave in the comment section. It'll be great to answer them and learn, also from your point of view. Thank you, Daren. And if there's a chance, we'll catch up again. Maybe
Yes.
next year with new versions of cars coming on. And see you in the next episode.
See y'all.
And
Bye-bye.
Bye.